Hey Sagittarius, welcome to your February reading. I am using the Practical Magic deck. I'll move you a bit closer. And also Shapeshifter Oracle by Lucy Cavendish. These are the two decks I'm using for February. So let's see what's in store for you guys. So the first card represents the energy that you're in right now, potentially how you're feeling or what you're dealing with. It's influenced by this card. It is time for play. Woodland Queen. Okay, it's definitely a time for you to be sociable. Not just that one. And a time for you to, surround yourself with people, be it community, be it family. I feel like it's just really influential for you at the moment to be surrounded by family, friends, people who bring joy to your life. Now this card does represent having more fun in general. So I do feel as though anything that you're doing right now is to not take it so seriously that it takes away the joy from what you're doing away. I feel that that could inspire others around you as well. By you being in that playful energy is inspiring for others. I do think that it is a much more light-hearted time for you, which I'm loving. Whereas potentially before, I feel that maybe you've struggled to find your sense of joy and things kind of bringing you down just on a really energetic level. I feel like that's shifting behind you now, so you are in this place where you can enjoy the moment, and I really do see you focusing on the present, which is really, really good. It's kind of that decide to be happy now energy. It's like, you know what, I'm just going to enjoy and appreciate where I'm at, because what will be in that kind of vibe, which I really love. It means that we are not so stuck on outcomes and forward thinking. We actually are enjoying the moment and just sitting in gratitude as well. Now, a crossing energy with this card is the mermaid and the turtle woman. She is an elder will teach you. Again, there may be people around you. I do feel like a sense of family, maybe close family, being someone who also is helping you to enjoy. Maybe you're enjoying their company. I do feel like maybe a relationship might be healing and mending during this time, that potentially you are taking on the guidance and advice because you're trusting in this person. So I do feel as though maybe before things just being a bit more stressed, and it could be that loved ones being, and yourself being a little bit more impulsive, a little bit more aggressive in the day-to-day, and I feel like now it's more chill, whether it's because the holidays, if you've got children, or have time away from work or school during the summer season or winter, depending where you are in the world, and so it's helped you to relax the nervous system. Totally can feel that, but I feel like it's impacting your relationships, that again, people close to you, I feel like it's coming from a more healed level and less intense. Yeah, I just get this sense of social gatherings and listening. Again, leaning on people who you care about, who you trust and respect. I feel like they could have some wisdom for you, and help guide you in the areas where you feel you need guidance. Feel your emotions is in this crossing energy of an elder will teach you. So I do feel like you are able to be more vulnerable. I need to sneeze. Be more vulnerable and open emotionally. Do trust your instinct with this card. Bless me, there it is. Trusting your instinct and trusting in, I feel like actually you can really feel who you can trust during this time. And again, realizing who's in the close circle and who are like acquaintances. I do think that you should be reveling and enjoying in all of those acquaintances, friends, or family. I feel like you can really benefit from that interaction in general. I do feel like just pushing you towards being more social, and just enjoying life in general. However, I feel like you do have your close people you can trust, and I feel like you can trust in how you are feeling around people to give you insight into whether or not they are good for you. And I actually just get this sense of you really being in control emotionally. And Sagittarius, I do feel like this is a nice welcome change for you. I feel like this energy is just shifting into something more pleasant for you. So I'm loving that. Definitely a flow. I feel like things are just flowing, which can mean in areas like financial abundance, like money just flowing to you. I just get this ease of flow of that calming the nervous system. So to me, it does indicate abundance and prosperity, because when that comes to us, we do naturally come into this sense of feeling things are going to be okay, because we have less worries in those areas. It filters down into other areas of our lives too. Rest and restore. We have two cards in this place because the crossing energy just wanted to be with this card. So this is the Mermaid of Immersion, and she represents complete commitment. With this being with rest and restore, I do think that it's not about taking action. It's more about being in a resolve of just deciding this is going to be this, however that applies to you. The rest and restore is about taking time, realizing there's no rush to rush into anything. And again, I get this ease and flow for you, so it makes sense that this is here, of you knowing that, you've got plenty of time. There's no need to rush or change and shift anything. Again, I feel as though that's naturally changing anyway, so that it is a time for you to not have to force anything, I would say. The complete commitment, it does represent making a decision and sticking with your resolve. However, I just feel like it's making a commitment to the self, to allow yourself something. I feel as though there's potentially been blockages or something where you have prevented yourself from something, because it's as though this is like commit to allowing yourself the freedom, the joys. Maybe you've been a little bit harsher on yourself, and to me, I would say that these two cards together can represent like giving yourself the gift of being able to heal, and that understanding as well. Sometimes, again, when we've been through a little bit of a harder time, we can really beat ourselves up about how we dealt with that energy. An example of this is the easiest way to say it is kind of like when you are a mum. Sometimes you're going through your own life. Maybe you're a little bit more harsher, like constantly moaning at people to try and help you because nobody's helping you around the house, or having enough, like you're already at the end of your tether with your normal everyday, with other things, and then the kids act up, and then you overreact sometimes, and then that can then make you feel really, really guilty, really beat yourself up with how you're dealing with the situation, because again, you know that you overreacted, and so you can beat yourself up about that, and then it hinder you. It's keeping you in that moment. We all go through bad times and have bad moments. The way that we can move on and work forward is to show ourselves kindness. Maybe you do need to apologize if you did overreact. It's okay, apologize. You have then apologized and forgive yourself, because again, other people have likely forgiven you already. You keeping hold of it is not helping. So that's just an example of the energy of not holding on to something, realizing that we all have good and bad days, moments, whether it's a long period of time or a short. You can't change the past. You can't change what was. What you can do is allow yourself the acceptance that, that is where I was at, and now we're going to make sure we're making the right changes, that we don't allow ourselves back into that space. And that's all you can do. But I feel like this is a very healing time of you having acceptance, and but again, understanding and kindness of the self is a way to heal that. Next we have Face Your Fear, Passion and Power. Now we do have crossing energy with this one and then the one below. So I will touch on this crossing energy again when we get down to those final cards. But this is Kitsune. I will show you who to trust. Now, so I feel as though you are flowing, and that's a really good thing. A really good part of flowing is that when we are in the energy that we need to be in, we attract what we need, right? Now, face your fear. To me, I would say the focus is on the self, of healing and not allowing, again, past influences to influence your everyday and your now. I feel as though you're in a really good space to be not allowing that back in. So this is not really a major Don't stop allowing this, stop doing that. It's not like that. It is more of a, let's admit this is an awareness that we don't fall back into patterns. Facing your fear is doing something even if it's scary. A lot of the times we will have fears that will prevent us from moving forward, when really being stuck in the same spot and not going for what we want is a worse outcome than actually trying and potentially failing, because again, failing doesn't mean it's an end of. It means that the way that we did it in that moment wasn't right for us or right for the time, and there's something that we may be able to change, and we can really assess what we did and why it failed in order to not make the same mistakes again. So I feel like we need to be getting over and having courage here to face those fears, to really understand what is meant for us and what is not. And that's exactly what this card represents. Like, I will show you what is right for you and what is not. So what can you do in that instance is to take action to make sure and ensure that you are facing your fears and moving forward. To me, this would be very much like the card face your fear. I said it a minute ago in my speech, what I was saying. Face your fears, or it's something about going forward fiercely. And yeah, I don't know. I lost that. Anyway, next card, New Beginnings. This is really good. So I feel like you're in this good space of living in the moment. And this energy shift is opening you up to new beginnings. Now, she is beautiful. Let me try and get you to see her. I know the light shifts and changes when I put cards forward. She is Lady of Air. I do feel like you need to be allowing a flow. Imagine a breeze trickling through. It feels pleasant. It feels nice. And this is what I feel for you. This is how I feel the changes coming naturally. It feels like good changes. There are butterflies, and my daughter this morning, she's a Sagittarius, that's why it's reminding me of this, and it's kind of relevant. There was a butterfly flying in at school, and it was getting stuck against a metal gating, like the little crossy things, and she helped it in, and it really made her day. Like, oh my god, I helped the butterfly, it was so amazing. And to me, I feel like that's kind of the point. I feel like your things are just naturally happening around you, where it just brings a little bits of joy in the everyday to day life, and I kind of want you to revel in those, like appreciate the small things and see the magic. And I think that you will see how this is shifting the energy around you and impacting you in life. You are supported. There's a lot of support around you. But I do feel like things are getting lighter for you, getting easier for you to, I would say, get ready to make big changes in your life. The crossing energy with this is you've been given everything you need. So I do feel like up until this point, anything that you may have perceived as a hardship, I feel like it's just been a little tool in your arsenal for you to be prepared to start building on where you want to go next in life. Definitely feel a great strength. I feel as though previously you may have seen yourself as quite vulnerable and maybe incapable in certain things. I feel like you've been able to show yourself just how capable you are. And the crossing energy crosses into shine your light, light and dark. And that's exactly what I was just saying. With this card, it's kind of like realizing and accepting yourself in your whole self. So often we will see ourselves as having strengths and weaknesses, and the weaknesses, when we are starting to feel a little bit more vulnerable, those things come to the surface. And again, that's where we can allow insecurities, the fears, and all the things that we make believe about ourselves as a negative. However, being emotional is a strength. So again, being able to feel emotions alone is a great strength. Being able to show them, that's amazing strength. Many people suppress them. They are too scared to show their emotions, and that doesn't get them very far in life at all, because again, feeling these emotions help guide you intuitively. It's another sense. So when what you are feeling, and this is directly below feel your emotions as well, so this really is a little bit like, this is your strength. This is what has helped you get through what you do. So witnessing this, seeing it for what it is, you now can use this to help guide you. And it wants you to see the light and the dark as a whole, not as two separate entities. You cannot have the light without the dark. If you were just something that thought positively constantly, you would not really be wary of the dangers. You wouldn't sense danger, because again, you'd see just the good in that moment in that energy. You wouldn't even know what the darkness felt like in order to put self-protection, or to realize whether or not this is right for you or wrong for you. And I think that's what we need a little bit more of, is less of this, I should be thinking positive, everything should be happy all the time, because no, we do need to experience highs and lows in order for us to grow as an entity in itself, and to experience life at its whole. Next we have lunar strength, lunar magic. Definitely feel like with this February, we're in the Lunar New Year. This is the first new moon cycle of the year. We are in that energy. So it would say harness this energy during this time. It would insinuate that you are flowing freely as well with nature and natural cycles. So I keep tripping over my words for your reading today, Sagittarius. You are the first reading of today, so I'm getting into the flow. So I do apologize. There's a lot of blues here. You have emotional and lunar strength. I would say that communication is important for you, especially in terms of relationships. The crossing energy with this is the 2 kittens. You must choose. And I have just done an TikTok, really quick reading on that, and this card came up. And I feel with February we have a touch on relationships, with it being Valentine's and being in that love energy. So I would say communication may be key here. That card does mean you must choose. I do think for some of you, I get this sense of you not yet dating but being ready for love, so you've got to make that choice if that's what you're wanting. But again, your divine feminine, I feel, is an asset here. I do feel like it's kind of like a knight in shining armor. So I feel like there may be love for you. It doesn't have to be male, obviously, if that's not what you're attracted to. It's more of the symbology of being somebody who is strong, protective, and loving. However, I feel like you are the protector here. You are the one that is more dominant during this time, which I'm loving. I feel like that means that you have the choice to really shape your relationships and shape what you want out of relationships. Again, it comes with communication, and I think that's where that throat chakra energy that I'm sensing here comes from. And again, flowing. Release and let go of what you don't want, and it's okay to have high expectations, especially I think during this time for you. It's okay for you to only accept in what is essentially good for you, that's going to nurture you in terms of relationship, because I feel as though there is this kind of sadness with the past of you not trusting, not in relationships. I would say not trusting in relationships, not in a person per se. I feel like it's more to do with yourself and maybe what you will allow and how you are with somebody else around. I feel as though this is like a nervous energy here. And again, we are facing our fears and not letting them control that, because I feel like you are ready. You're definitely in a really, really good place to manifest what it is that you want in out of relationships. There's a lot of blue here. And again, remember, because we have this crossing energy with this next card, which is, it's not our final card, but it is leading to the end of the reading. I will show you who to trust. So you have to let people in order to be able to see whether or not they trust, right? You have to actually get to know somebody. Remember that relationships are not how that fairy tale where we meet someone and then they're our one and only, and that's for life, and this is forever. In those first moments of meeting, life is not a fairy tale where you're going to meet your handsome prince the second he kisses you. You're just going to know. I think that this is a very toxic thing we ingrained into women in general as young girls. And again, boys as well, in the same way, in fairy tales, in the way that we tell them about these Prince Charmings and how they live happily ever after. It's not realistic. It's not reality. And actually, it does form people to stay into toxic, unhealthy relationships, and gives us this warped sense of like none of us, and I think like literally none of us know how to be in healthy relationships anymore, because we expect the person that we're with, who we're comfortable with, that we built a trust with, to really be who we want them to be and need them to be, when they are showing us that they're not that person, because their energy is just different. And remember, we are changing too, so potentially whatever, just think of who you were at pick an age, 20 years old. If you're young, if you are 20, think 16. Think at least 5 years, 5 to 10 years ago. Are you still that person? Are you still attracted to people you were attracted to at that time? Did you want in life what you wanted at that time? Did you see the world the way you see it now? No, right? Because again, you're evolving and growing. And so when sometimes we expect the people to grow and evolve in the same way we do, but they're not living the same experiences. Even when you have shared your life with somebody during those 5 to 10 years, they have not experienced it in the same way that you have. For starters, they have had you in their life in a different position than you. So you have not influenced your own life in the same way that you're influencing somebody else's. They are really experiencing even the relationship differently from what you are. And I think sometimes we really do not look objectively at these things. So with that being said, what I'm getting at here is like when we first get into relationships, you're meant to be getting to know somebody, right? Whether you are somebody who's wanting to be very physical early on or wanted to be more mental early on or more spiritual, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. It doesn't matter. It makes no difference whatsoever in the scheme of things. What it does make a difference and matter to is to you personally and to your relationships and how you are willing to jump straight in or not, take your time to get to know somebody. If they're not right for you in 3 months or in 3 years, they're not right for you in that time anymore. So then you're ready to move on. And I think when we stop trying to put forever on something that we're just starting, that's when we can really flow more easier in life. And again, then things can grow with us because if we didn't go in with this massive expectation that's unrealistic based on the information that we know at that time. We don't need to know somebody the second we allow them to have a piece of our heart. It's about trusting and loving somebody in that moment. Because again, when you first meet someone and you're vibing, that is amazing. Even if you vibe for one day, that was the one day with that person that was really cool, that you experienced, you were on a high, you were both flowing, the chemistry was really good. That not having longer than 3 months or 3 years shouldn't take away from that. That was an interaction that gave you something, that helped you to grow, helped you to trust that initial meeting of new people. So even if you only have one date with somebody and it doesn't go further than that, what did it give you? You learned something from it. You got a lesson. You learned that, one, it's not going to go anywhere else if they have this because, I didn't like that. I don't want that in a relationship. So now you know what to look in this next one. You're going from a more, again, a wiser space. You've learned something from somebody. And that's a beautiful thing of communicating and being around people, is that you can learn something in literally within minutes of speaking to somebody and grow as a person. People think that you have to have so much, like anything. You don't. You can actually speak to someone or just have a smile from someone, and that make you have a brighter look on humanity alone, right? That's how impactful our communication is, and I feel like communication is essential for you. So I do want you to realize that it's just about experiences and experiencing things, and I think that it's time for you to start experiencing things, especially in terms of people and relationships, and don't have the expectations that this is going to be forever or that you have to have best friends in somebody just because you got along out of one conversation. I hope this is resonating with you. Now this final card is express your heart. So I feel like I just told you everything within this. It is time for you to put your heart out there and express yourself from an authentic space. Again, what this does is, because this is the crossing energy here, is show you exactly who you can and can't trust. You have to allow yourself to just be who you are. And so that comes with how you talk to people, how you treat people. Just be yourself. How their energy affects how you treat them. Like, because other people's energy, we sometimes just meet someone and, they bring out the worst in us. That's your body telling you, this person's not for you, or you probably shouldn't spend as much time with this person. Or they bring out passion in you that even though it's not all lovey feelings, doesn't mean that they don't have a space in your life. It shows you what that person brings out. And again, I feel like sometimes revealing more of a reaction out of you can really speak volumes in terms of growth. And I just think that viewing the world differently for you during this time is really essential. And I think there's so much for you to learn. So again, just letting your heart shine, be who you are, show the world, and the world will show you. Last one is albino alligator. Magical protection is necessary. This is shield yourself from outside influences. So I think, as I've been talking about, putting yourself out there, to me, this represents like, yes, it's a vulnerable thing to do, but you do have to face your fears. That has come up to say that. Face your fears, allow yourself to shine, but understand doing so is a vulnerable thing. So it may make you feel a little bit apprehensive or, scared. It's really scary having to put yourself out there, especially if it's not what you're used to doing. If you have shut yourself off for a long period of time, getting back out there, you don't have to rush yourself into it. Remember, we're in this rest and restore, so there is no immediate time to do this. It's not telling you, like, you know what, book that appointment, get on those dates, go to that social party. It's just saying yes to social things, but also at your own pace. There's no time limit to this, and accepting yourself and loving yourself and nurturing yourself is essential. But this is saying, be wary that, other people, there's no expectations on how other people will react or how they'll make you feel, but it is about protecting yourself and understanding and trusting your emotions. If something makes you feel not okay, remove yourself from it. Simple as that. You do have the choice to do that. You are the only one in charge, because again, I think we had the leader card. No, we didn't have for yours, actually. I think that was in the main one. But again, you are the leader of your life, so you're in control. So face your fears. Loving that. So again, no influences on the outside, protecting your energy, but allowing yourself to flow. That communication, that throat chakra, let's get it working. So thank you guys for being here, Sagittarius. Please subscribe to my channel to keep up to date with your monthly and weeklies, and I'll see you next month. Thank you guys.